Bungie just had their second Edge of Fate dev stream. Yes, second. Next week, we will have our third. Funny how the Final Shape only had 1 or maybe 1.5 dev streams if you count the Destiny 2023 overview stream. After watching and digesting everything that Bungie revealed, and I'm being very generous with that statement, it seems more clearly than ever that there are some extremely blatant red flags showing up. Mostly, I'd like to do a deep dive once the last live stream is out next week. But for today, let's break down everything that was talked about this second dev stream and really hone in on some of the major issues that needs to be addressed next week, hopefully. First, for people who didn't watch the stream, let's give a small roadmap that was about the live stream. Some of these may be out of order, but it's mostly everything that Bungie discussed. They talked about how we had the start of the whole stream was a small trailer discussing Edge of Fate. Then we got a reveal about the firing range. They discussed Armor 3.0. They answered questions about the weapon stat in PvP and how it will impact PvP. They talked about the new weapon types. They talked about the exotic armor pieces coming to Edge of Fate. And they talked about the ammo meter briefly. They briefly talked about the portal and gave an example of Savathûn's Spire. Bungie also discussed gear tiers, answered questions about old gear, explained weapon stats. Bungie talked about Rights of the Nine being tier 3. Bungie mentioned bonuses like perks and season bonuses. And then they wrapped up by talking about the artifact and the mods. But let's talk specifically about 2 glaring issues that are immediate red flags that came out from this dev stream. The most blatant issue is that 99% of what was shown today is something that was already revealed either via content creator previews or in This Week in Destiny blogs, or was part of their previous stream. And it's not like people had no idea about these topics either, as Bungie themselves were actively advertising the TWID content creator previews for 2 weeks straight. The second blatant issue, and the biggest red flag in my opinion, was that 90% of the entire stream was about the free systematic changes. Only 10% of the entire stream was actually about the paid DLC Edge of Fate. The trailer at the beginning, which was about Edge of Fate, was about 3 minutes and 20 seconds long. The reveal that was most notable was the brand new heavy crossbow. Yeah, that was the most exciting thing from this dev stream, and something that was actually new. They revealed the spread hand cannon. They revealed the rocket assisted pulse and the wish ender style bow, the exotic hand cannon, and the 3 exotic armor pieces. That was it. That was the only thing presented, and most of that was just gear, not even the expansion itself. Someone had made a comment that this could have been an email, and I feel that. It's crazy to see the differences between Borderlands 4 and Destiny and marketing. Sure, Borderlands 4 is a new game, but Edge of Fate is supposed to be a new saga with the suggestion that it's in spirit a Destiny 3. Yet the marketing has been the same bite-sized bits of actual DLC that we constantly keep getting. It has lacked any actual substance. It's incredibly alarming that this DLC is being packaged with free updates as if you're giving Bungie money for nothing. Bungie revealed that Kepler was like a dungeon-like exploration, doubling down on the Metroid arc ball mechanic by showcasing that you can upgrade it, and it allows you to reuse strand and stasis abilities we've already unlocked and paid for, and it can actually be used in other parts of the game, unlike the Metroid mechanic. I'm going to be brutally honest here. I was getting Curse of Osiris vibes. Like, seriously, remember when Bungie tried to sell Curse of Osiris and they hyped up Mercury? The public event was one of the highlights of the expansion. You can't forget the iconic 2 tokens and a blue meme.
You're watching this at home and you are a solo player. If you don't have a friends list that is bristling with teammates, Destiny will introduce you to people that will help you complete this activity. We currently have a pre-made fire team, and they are, in fact, heroic. Now let's check this out. I promised before that this was the most rewarding public event, and there we have it. We have 2 chests for a change.
As if that was amazing content. The second highlight was the exploration of the Infinite Force, which Bungie heavily focused on for its randomness and how it was something new and fresh to better the player experience.
So we have been working on this for a bit. This is a really exciting new addition to Destiny, and built in a way that will be different every time. They will connect differently. You might not see half of the pieces for your playthrough. There is no rhyme or reason in how they are connected besides that they connect to another reality.
So this is not necessarily procedurally generated. These are set pieces that you have created to provide players with a good and interesting experience as they move through the space.
Yes, if you've played Destiny for any period of time, you start to know how things work out. And this guaranteed every time you come here, you will play something you have not experienced prior. This will be different every time.
Ironically, Curse of Osiris also had 2 different dev streams, but both of them actually showed gameplay most of the time, whereas Edge of Fate, we have seen 0 actual gameplay outside of content creator previews. Listen, the heavy crossbow, the shotgun hand cannon, the rocket assisted pulse rifle, the wish ender style bow, these are really cool additions. Guns are one of the strengths that Bungie provides. They are the bread and the butter. However, no one cares about new weapons if there's nowhere to use them. We also saw the 3 exotic armor pieces, which overall seem very weak compared to exotics. I know there's some content creators that are overhyping them, but when you compare them to the exotics that we have currently, they are not going to be that as potent. They're not going to be that good in comparison to what we have already. And it didn't really do justice by making these exotics the main selling point in the live stream. Let's be honest, this dev stream should have been a simple question and answer stream where they spent an hour answering the players' questions. Sure, they answered a few questions that were pretty much already answered or were pretty much vague. They should have spent all that extra time focusing on answering questions that were the hot topics, the things that the community wants to know, especially in regard to the expansion itself versus the free updates. Questions like whether old armor is going to be good or not. Bungie, of course, did say, yeah, it'll be good, yet they did not disclose if this is the plan for the future, or they will force players to eventually get new armor in the future. Then they compare weapons to how, like, weapons we have now are basically better than tier 1, even though, of course, the tier 1 loot is better than what we have now because tier 1 weapons can't be enhanced. Basically, you'll need tier 4 weapons in order to use enhanced mods, which anyone who has eagle-eyed the weapon mods in the stream noticed there was a new mod called Abundant Ammo, which has an enhanced version which grants increased ammo generation, which for anyone who plays endgame, this is an extremely important new mod to have on it completion for day 1 raids or even master raids or even grandmasters, as ammo generation is very important. A completion of a day 1 can depend on ammo generation alone. Ask anyone who actually plays endgame. One of the biggest questions was, what level can we start grinding level 5 gear? Or will other parts of the game allow us to hunt tier 5 gear? Or will there only be a small pocket of activities in the portal? These are just questions that are not being answered currently right now, which I'll give a bigger deep dive on why that is a problem if they don't give you the reason to go back to old content in the next week's live stream. I'm going to do a whole analysis deep dive talking about some of the core issues about this DLC. One of the biggest reveals, which has caused a lot of frustration, is that seasonal armor will have weapon bonuses that stack with the weapon stat itself, further boosting your damage and giving you a 15% damage resistance, which is a big deal because in order to get tier 5 gear, you'll need to farm ultimate mode. So in order to actually do that, you'll need best in tier slots. So you will absolutely need any benefit you can get. Not to mention, they are selecting random exotics that will be chosen as the focus exotic to get the complete package bonus. That's right, you don't get to choose the exotic, Bungie chooses for you. And of course, a lot of people are not happy with this, but we do see a few streamers trying to be intellectually dishonest with arguments about the whole situation, like Scarrow, who eventually got called out by Salty Greppo, trying to compare artifact mods that select a few weapons to up armor bonus that gives a flat damage bonus to all weapons. except for power, that is a night and day difference. Even Maddox, who usually defends Bungie, called this out, though it was mostly because it interrupts his build video business. Even more noticeable changes, such as Bungie providing descriptors to enhance perks, while meanwhile that is good, those perks like Incandescent don't actually explain what the enhance perk does. And DMG tried to update everyone on why the Bungie team decided to be vague about the enhanced perks by saying, we showed a bit of how we're pulling stats, descriptors, and info to the game, but some things will still leave a bit for you to discover through gameplay. Specifically, this is a vague description invoking "try me. I do something more rare and difficult to define." A perfect comment was by Perfected Fried Bread. This is a retarded way to do tooltips. It's just offloading work to define how the game works to community members when you could literally just make the numbers public. Your team wastes countless people's time because you refuse to put numbers in tooltips and public accurate patch notes. I would have to agree. Why waste dev resources to be vague for no reason? People will just keep using dim or light GG, or there is now a program that you can download that explains perks when you click on them. All Bungie has to do is put exactly what things do in the game. This is an example of wasteful dev resources. The whole live stream was an example of wasted resources. Even Mr. Raffle Waffles posted and commented on this, starting out in his Twitter thread. This is categorically not the place to purposely be vague. Would love for you to reconsider this approach. Flies in the face of UX improvements you guys are targeting. Moving on to a larger thread. I really can't stress this one enough because it's such a huge pain point for our journey of learning the game this year. Further rambles below. Usual caveat. This is just my opinion and I'm not talking for anyone else, yada, yada. One of Destiny's biggest weaknesses is its absolute inability to explain to a new player how the game itself works. There are hundreds, thousands of verbs, elements, status effects, perks, stats, buffs, debuffs, charges, surges, etc., etc. So much to learn, and it takes a minimum hundreds of hours of gameplay to wrap your head around a meaningful percent of it. By purposely obfuscating information that explains what some of the stuff is, you continue to force people to A, ignore the thing itself, not engage with the system, and stay helpless and less leaned into the game, or B, Destiny continues to be Wikipedia of the game, which you've already recognized is a problem, hence we're putting the info in the game sentiment on the stream. It makes zero sense to propose it would be fun having to memorize yet another tiny piece of information which won't be relevant in 99% of players' play, and force them to Google every new time they forget what it does. An alternative design might be proposed to say, but wait, what if uncovering a unique usage could be exciting? To feel a sense of discovery be rewarded? Sure, but that discovery should never revolve around purposely vagueness in the menus, because the menu is there to help and serve the player and assist them in trying to navigate the infinite complexities of the game. And all the system does is tell players to give up on the menu because they don't respect the player's need for quick information sourcing in a pinch. You can still have hidden interactions, wish ender eggs, etc., with things, but this enhancement does a thing is not a cook, I'm afraid. TDLR, secrets are good, but basic information in the game's menu should not be treated as secrets when those same menus already struggle to adequately explain the game to players old and new. And as you can see, most people absolutely agree about this statement. Bungie yet again showcasing that they don't understand. Your post and DG post highlight clearly how disconnected they are from what the players want and how they get into the room and say all this is great. It's a very clear indication that Bungie has no idea what they're doing. It's a massive red flag that they don't know what the players actually want, that they're not actually listening to the player base. This has got to be one of the worst ways to promote a DLC. Bungie truly is banking on the Destiny community to be fully brain dead and hoping to fool new players and returning players who have no idea that these updates are actually free. If this is the best Bungie has to offer, it seems like a worse version of Curse of Osiris, and I foresee layoffs in the future. I love Destiny, and after the stream, I felt heartbroken. And many people in the community felt that way as well. This stream has done nothing but caused more harm. It's only caused more people to feel uncomfortable with buying the DLC, or they feel like there's no reason to come back to Destiny, especially since the biggest advertisement Bungie has done is the free stuff. And it's not me. We go through the comments section on different YouTubers' comments on Twitter and look at all the YouTube comments. People are not happy. They're not excited. This is not looking good for not only just Edge of Fate, but Destiny as a whole. If this is supposed to be the entryway to a new saga, it is very, very, very bad. This is not how you get people excited for a new saga, especially if people are thinking this is going to be Curse of Osiris 2.0. Well, guys, let me know what you think, and let me know, did this stream get you hyped for the Edge of Fate? I'd like to hear what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time, game out. Huzzah.